Time now for our Home Depot AP Top 25 look ahead as we welcome in CBS Sports football analyst and two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden and 24/7 Sports reporter Brad Crawford. And so number 14, Texas A&M upsets number 8 LSU 38-23 with a vicious second half comeback. B-Mac, I'll start with you. How do you think this is going to shake up the top 25? Because at one point you're thinking, oh, LSU, they're going to hang on to win this game.
Yep.
And then the script flips. And now we're talking about Texas A&M with an emphatic win.
When you look at how the game, the flow of the game and how everything worked out for A&M being down double digits in the second half and winning by 15, look at Coach Elko making the ultimate quarterback change and that really jumpstart their offense, and the defense came to the party as well. Brad, I don't know about you, but I have A&M inside my top 12 when it's all said and done based on what they did today. So clearly I think A&M taking care of at that time, the number 18 in college football in LSU, fighting from behind in the second half and winning by 15, yes, they will be inside the top 10 when it's all said and done.
I think A&M will too, but I can't put A&M ahead of Notre Dame right now because Notre Dame went to College Station 2 months ago and beat this A&M team. Now, both these teams are different right now. Marcel Reed, tonight's hero for the Aggies, did not play in that game. Connor Weidman was the quarterback. But I will say this, Texas A&M right now, surprisingly atop the SEC, sole possession of first place in what most of us consider to be the most competitive league in college football. And they've done it with defense and then timely quarterback play. I mean, Marcel Reed tonight, 3 touchdowns. I don't think anybody saw that coming. No one expected him to even play tonight, and LSU at times looked discombobulated on defense, and they didn't expect it either. So very impressed with the Aggies tonight.
He probably didn't expect to play either, but he was ready when his number was called, and that's why there's going to be a QB controversy going forward. Now, meanwhile, Penn State, they looked in deep trouble at halftime, down 10-7 against the Badgers in Madison. Drew Aller never came back to the game due to a lower body injury. But then Jalen Allen secures a pick six. Bo Pribula took over quite well, and they cruised 28-13 ahead of their massive showdown against Ohio State next week. Brad, I'll start with you. How do you feel about the Nittany Lions, especially if Drew Aller can't go, taking on the Buckeyes?
Yeah, if he can go, I feel a lot better about Penn State's chances. When he's on, he is a solid quarterback. He was a 5-star recruit a couple of years ago for a reason, man. But the Penn State defense tonight really impressed me. Came up with that third quarter pick six when Penn State's offense was struggling a little bit, when they really needed it. And then to have 2 touchdowns late in that game to sort of ice it and put it away, that's 2 big-time Big Ten road victories in the last 3 weeks for Penn State. You know, beating USC in overtime a couple weeks ago and then doing it tonight at Camp Randall, hostile environment under the light. So I've been impressed with this start for Penn State. Obviously, the season for James Franklin gets decided next week, though, against Ohio State.
Yeah, no question. This is what it's all about for Penn State, because in years past, under James Franklin, you have been able to beat the teams like Wisconsin and Maryland and Rutgers and Northwestern. But you struggled against the big boys in the Big Ten, a la Michigan, a la Ohio State. Well, this season, you're not playing against Michigan, and probably this would be the year you would want to play against Michigan because they've been struggling. But you still have Ohio State on the schedule. And Brad, to your point, you're getting the Buckeyes in the backyard, in your backyard. In your backyard, that means something. When you look at what's at stake and how well you've been playing, you have to get it done. Now, there is some concerns, to your point, with your starting quarterback in Drew Aller. But at this point, who cares? Whoever it is at quarterback, you have to find a way to get it done because this is a very, very talented team. They can run the football. They have one of the best tight ends in the country. And defensively, on all 3 levels, they have at least one legit pro on your defense, all 3 levels, D-line, linebacker, and secondary. Find a way to get it done because this is what it's all about. If you're a Penn State fan, this is the game you had circled on your calendar because the teams that you have beaten thus far, you're supposed to beat them. Now it's about getting over that hurdle to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, Penn State fans definitely hoping that James Franklin will be able to get it done this year and take down the almighty Ohio State Buckeyes. How about number 12 Notre Dame? They made sure 24th ranked Navy wouldn't be upsetting them 51-14, a complete thrashing for 6 turnovers. B-Mac and Brad, listen, I don't know about y'all, but there was a point in time where I thought Notre Dame, we were going to be just singing the same old tired song where they show up for a little bit and then they come back down to life because we know they are pretenders. But B-Mac, if they run the table, are they in the playoffs, in your opinion?
You guys know Notre Dame will be in the playoffs. If they run the table, Brad, Chris, you know, Notre Dame is that program, they're the chosen one. If they kind of give any little bit of glimmer of will and want to, you better believe they're going to get in. They're going to get in. And it helps their case in getting in, Brad, because there's been a lot of chaos in the top 10 as we've seen it so far this season. That actually helps Notre Dame. But right now, if they keep taking care of their business, they have a very, very favorable schedule the rest of the way, right on time. I mean, my Florida State Seminoles, they're not doing a lot right now, Brad. Don't laugh at us. Virginia, you know, they're not doing a lot. Unexpected loss to me to North Carolina today because I thought Virginia would take care of their business. Now, Army, they can be – that's an intriguing game, but their style of play, it kind of fits what Notre Dame does defensively. To my point, we saw that today against Navy. They try to run it, try to play bully ball in the trenches, run the option. Notre Dame, they're ready for that, right? And then timely passes. So that's the most intriguing game the rest of the way. But for me, I think Notre Dame should be fine. And if they are fine taking care of their business, Brad, you know they're in the playoffs, Brad.
I was going to say, don't downplay the resume for the Fighting Irish. Just thrashed an unbeaten Navy team. Did beat a decent Louisville team at the time. They beat the SEC, I guess, projected champion right now on the road to open the season. And then they get an unbeaten top 20 Army team here in a few weeks. Then they go to L.A. and play Southern Cal. Southern Cal's down, I understand, but anytime you can beat Lincoln Riley head-to-head, that's still a good win. So without a doubt, if Notre Dame goes 11-1, they're deserving of a playoff bid. Riley Leonard's playing well right now. And Marcus Freeman. A lot of us shoved dirt on the grave when NIU won that game in September. But that was a long time ago, fellas. Notre Dame's clicking on all cylinders right now, and Navy just turned it over too many times in that first half. A couple gifts on the fumbles, and Notre Dame pushed it in, and in a rout, Notre Dame won big.
Yeah, there was no doubt about this one from the start of the game to the end of it. The Irish handled their business. Now, when it comes to your top 12, Brad, who do you have in your top 12 for the following week?
Notre Dame's certainly one of them, but right now Oregon is the front runner for the national championship, in my opinion. I mean, unbeaten right now at 7-0. Gabriel, as B-Mac said previous segment, is the Heisman front runner, rightfully so. Georgia 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State and Texas. Those are the 5 teams I think have the best chance of advancing in the playoffs. Miami right now is number 6 for me, but the Hurricanes are a bit of a fraud. Cam Ward's a Heisman candidate, but the last few weeks outside of tonight's win over Florida State, Miami has had some hiccups a bit defensively. And then I think Indiana's a team really coming on strong. Indiana's a squad that even if they lose to Ohio State in the coming weeks and finish 11-1, I mean, the Big Ten looks like it's a 4 or 5 team league in this playoff.
Yeah, my list is very, very similar to yours, Brad. I have Oregon, number 1, Georgia 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State 4, Texas 5, Miami 6. The difference between my list and your list, you see at 12, right? I have Iowa State. I have concerns with the Cyclones, but they're undefeated, Brad. And they've been finding ways to win, and I'm loving their quarterback as well. So the thing about the Big 12, when you look at BYU, and when you look at Iowa State, I don't know how you feel, but for me, those are the 2 teams that I have the biggest question marks with that I have currently in my top 12. But college football, it will work itself out when it's all said and done. But throughout this weekend of play, that's my top 12, and I'm pretty content with my list. I think all teams are deserving, even with the idle teams, because Georgia, they're the second best team in the country. If you're not careful, they could be number 1 because they have woken up as of late, and they're ready to play some good football.
No, they absolutely are, and it's been shaping up to be a great season here for college football. Bryant McFadden, Brad Crawford, always a pleasure, gentlemen. And here's a look at the odds to win the national title.
Georgia
Right is on my mind, baby. Georgia is on my mind. They are the favorites. Right now, Oregon behind them. Then, of course, Ohio State, Texas, plus 550. And then it's Penn State and Clemson. Now, who knows? maybe somebody on here will actually win it, or perhaps somebody who's not on this graphic will be hoisting the national championship.